Hey guys, this is Jennifer with the Shooter's Mindset, and we are live with episode 455. We have
Yep.
our co-hosts tonight, Camden Powers. How's it going, Camden?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing, Jen?
Doing well.
Good.
And our other co-host of the evening, Greg Cannon. How's it going? I almost said Greg Powers.
It is
Oh,
going.
we're related all of a sudden.
Greg Camden Powers. I can't talk. Greg Cannon, how's it going?
It is going fantastic. Getting loaded up. You notice no tripod behind me. Getting ready to live stream AG Cup for all you fools this weekend.
I know. I packed our trunk is packed. The
Nice.
trunk and the Starlink is packed. The clothes are not, but the trunk is packed, except the extra microphones. They're in that. I want to take those. The
Yes.
road. Don't let me forget. Hey Siri, remind me to pack the roads at 9 p.m. Um, got to do that. I'm trying to make sure we have everything packed for the AG Cup this weekend. So make sure that y'all catch our coverage of that live. We will be live all 3 days. So make sure you catch that coverage. It's always exciting, especially day 3, to see who is the overall winner. But if you've never watched it, it's like a 2-day match on Friday and Saturday. So Saturday gets exciting to see who wins the 2-day match. And then on Sunday, it's the fight for the overall winner, and everyone does not get to shoot on Sunday. So only so many advance to the final day on Sunday. So it's a smaller field on Sunday, a little bit more intimate. I know the top 10 go, and then there's so many that get to go on a redemption slot. So it's a lot of fun. So definitely tune in. We'll be sharing it. I hope that some of the other pages will share the streams so that everybody can watch. So maybe we'll try and see if Camden can share it on the IPRF pages for everybody. And
I got you.
yeah, so everybody can watch that footage. So all right, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Everybody really wants to talk about IPRF and the GBPRA. So we got our friends to stay up really late for them because they are across the big pond. So we have our friends, Ryan Charlton and Jack Crawford, that are here with us. How's it going, guys?
Good,
Yeah, very
thanks.
well,
You?
thank you.
I was about to say, don't be shy. Neither of y'all are shy. So we normally do the we normally do the introductions for anybody that doesn't know you guys, kind of letting you introduce yourselves a little bit, tell us a little bit about yourselves and kind of how you got into shooting and what you do in shooting. So kind of what you do in the GBPRA. So Jack, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I'm the chairman for the GBPRA. Uh, I've been in the role for a year, 2 years. Yeah, 2 years I think it is now. I started shooting when I was about 7 years old. Uh, I've tried quite a few different disciplines in shooting, and I started PRS about 4 years ago, and then somehow before I knew it, I sort of ended up running the GBPRA. I don't still don't know how that's happened, but someone's got to do it, I suppose. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Oh,
So,
so I should have probably done a better introduction about what GBPRA is, just in case we have new shooters. Can you kind of give a
oh
little
yeah, sure, yeah. So
explanation of what it is?
yeah, so we're the governing body is probably the wrong word, but we're sort of the overarching organisation for the United Kingdom for all things sort of precision rifle, rimfire and centre fire. So we help organise, we help provide a framework for both competitions nationally, but also internationally. So we're the ones who will uh, select the team every year to go out to the World Championships. Uh, we help local organisations like get set up and get running. We help new ranges get set up. Uh, Basically anything that is PRS, we're there to try and help people get into it, really. I think that's probably the best way of explaining it.
That's awesome. Ryan.
Hello, thanks for having us. So
Tell
yeah,
us
I'm
about
Ryan.
yourself.
So I'm Ryan Charlton. I'm the media officer for the GBPRA. It's my job to kind of shout about all the great work that Jack and the committee guys do to promote the sport of precision rifle shooting in the UK. Personally, I started shooting. It was what, 5, 6 years ago now. Matt Hornback said, "Bro, you're gonna love this. You need to fly over to the US and come and shoot with me." I was like, okay, I don't need an excuse. So I flew across and met Matt for the first time, shot precision rifle for the first time at the NRL Gem State standoff back in 2019, having prior to that only ever hunted with a rifle, and sort of the bug bit hard, and ever since then I've sort of been precision rifle shooting's been a big part of my life. That was where I first met Jack when he was a young Marine before he had facial hair, and sort of we've both kind of been there from the start, since
Yeah.
it all began in the UK. When I'm not shooting precision rifle, I love to hunt, particularly nighttime. With thermal is my favorite, and if I'm not doing that, I'm probably shooting a match, and then in the daytime I work in the industry as well.
That's awesome. So the big news, I mean, it's really cool to talk to y'all always, but the big news that everyone really wants to talk about this show, which we talked about a few months ago doing the show, and I was like, let's get a little bit closer because I know everybody's gonna get amped up and really want to talk about it. And I know there's a lot of chatter now going on, and I know in our signal groups there's been a good bit of chatter starting up now about it. But the big news that everybody wants to hear about is that you guys are hosting the 2025 Rimfire World Championships over in Great Britain. So give us the deets. We want to know details. So start out by telling us, because I know everybody can look it up online, but that's so drab and boring. And this is a podcast. So start by telling us some details, like, can you tell us the dates and the location, and then a little bit about it.
Sure.
Yeah, of course.
Do you want to go, Jack?
So the dates is the 17th to the 24th of August. It will be at a venue that's only just started running PRS, and that is West Midlands Shooting Ground. So it was until recently, and it still is. It's a clay pigeon shooting ground, a bit like Italy, but the venue itself is nothing like Italy. It's completely different. So it should give everyone a quite a unique challenge. It's how to explain it. It's mostly woodland with a few open patches and clearings. So you're pretty much shooting from patches of woodland to other patches of woodland through clearings. It is a challenging venue to shoot out for wind. There's nothing that really sort of gives away what the wind's doing downrange. So it should be really challenging. The angles are interesting. Both up and down and left of right. There's quite a bit of the cone of fire is pretty big, which is giving me a headache writing a range plan, but we're getting there. Distances are going to be about the same, about 250 meters, I believe, is going to be our furthest target. Yeah, we're doing a lot of work up there, a lot of work. I don't know if you wanted to add anything there, Ryan. Is there anything I missed?
No, I think you've covered the bulk of it. I mean, if anybody looking to come either to shoot, spectate, or RO, it's the venue's absolutely stunning. It's about as British as it gets. It's beautiful, mature woodland with, as Jack says, you've got angles going plus or minus 20-ish degrees, and with a pan. I think we shot our final qualifying match there, and one of the stages had a pan of almost 180 degrees. So there's something for everything, and there's a lot of pictures floating around on the on social media of people shooting off of rocks, shooting right up, and also shooting right down as well. So there's going to be a good challenge of sort of natural props like rocks, trees, etc., etc., and also some man-made props as well. But certainly, I mean, the venue has been fantastic. The owner of the venue's been absolutely wonderful. He's
Yeah.
not afraid to get out in his digger and literally move the earth for us. It's wonderful.
In fact, I think one of my favorite stages there is like there's a set of targets I think about 75 at the bottom of a bank, and then you're shooting about 100 meters on top of a massive bank that's probably about 20 meters high. And then behind that, there was another target 200 meters away, sort of in a gap in the trees on top of another bank. But I'm not explaining it very well, but it's really, you're shooting at the bottom and you can completely see your trajectory. Then all of a sudden you're shooting on top of a bank where you've got no backstop. And then you're having to shoot through basically like a cone of trees at a target 200 meters away on another third bank. Yeah, it's different.
Oh my gosh. That
It's
sounds
going to be
really
cool.
intense.
It's worth mentioning as well that for 2025 we've got PRS Rimfire UK starting off, and West Midlands Shooting Ground is going to be the home of PRS Rimfire UK. So anybody from around the world will cover the criteria for entering the UK with a firearm and ammunition later on. But it's really easy to come over. There'll be a series of 2-day matches held at the venue.
Yeah.
And I think it's really important to stress that although they'll be at the venue, it's going to be nothing like the course of fire that will be shot for the World Championships. That's going to be on a totally separate part of the venue that won't be touched until August. So it will give you a flavour of what to expect. But this place for the UK, it's really unique in that we've got a large area to work with, and the owner of the land is really keen to work with us and support what we're doing. It's quite the place. It's awesome.
Yeah, they're used to running. I believe they ran like the European Championships for clay pigeon there. So they're used to large events, and we're pretty much building 20, I think it's 20 new stage areas, completely new stage areas, just specifically for our event. Which would be great later on because we'll have 20 new areas. But until then, as Ryan said, they're not going to be touched. It's just going to be like fence stuff for our use later on.
Oh, that's so awesome. I love just like fresh, never before used places to shoot. You know, AG Cup that we're heavily involved with, they move around every couple of years, but they've always been places that a lot of people have shot before. And they came last year to this. It's an old facility, but it's a new facility to the precision rifle world, the Clinton House Plantation. And it was funny. It started out the first couple matches there. I was doing pretty good. Shooting all right. It was good local regional competition. And then after they announced that the AG Cup was coming there, you started seeing, you know, Aaron Kincaid, Jeff Gurry, Kale show up, and it's just like, oh, well, you're just like messing up.
Not real popular.
Yeah, messing up the curve for all of us.
All of a sudden, everybody wanted to come.
But of
Yeah,
course, Tom being Tom, he's like, yeah, these guys may have done this, but they came up with 3 other places that have never been shot before at the match. So, Friday and Saturday, those guys, they had a little bit of an edge, but come Sunday, nobody had an edge because like they were still getting the places ready to shoot when we showed up there. Which was, I think that was really cool, just having it so nobody's like, oh yeah, it's always left edge and sending on that target.
Yeah, there'll be
crucial.
no home field advantage. That's for sure. That's what we're trying to sort of achieve.
Yeah.
That's really good. That's awesome that you guys are next. I know Italy, I don't know if any sort of rimfire match was held there before. So I think just like across the board, everyone knows that no one has shot this range before. No one has shot this course of fire, these props. I think that would really be good for every country.
It's going to be, we want a proper dogfight,
Yeah.
I think the same across the world. And after Italy, especially, seemed to me that seemed different to France in that there was more countries involved, and everybody wanted to dig in and have a proper scrap and a real shootout. And I I'm sure it's been the same in the US, but the past 18 months since Italy, the standard of shooting in the UK has with Rimfire has just gone on an upward trajectory, and so many people have wanted, as soon as it was announced it was going to be a home world championship,
Mhm.
the atmosphere kind of changed. That there was
Ooh.
amongst the qualification hopefuls, that it was a real competition. Our qualification process was probably the most
Yeah.
competitive series I think we've ever had in precision rifle in the UK. It
Yeah, without
went
a doubt.
down to the very last couple of shots on the very last stage of the very last qualifier to finalize some of the positions.
That's
It was
amazing.
cool.
I think that's how it's going to be for our open guys. Like they've been, I mean, there are so many of them going to like every qualifying match that they just want on the team, and it's like just shifts after every match, and you're sitting there like, okay, what's gonna happen? But it's yeah, our dynamic has changed since Worlds, but I think it's really great that the World Championships are making that impact in the shooting
Mm.
community, and it's great that GBPRA gets to we they're part of the legacy in growing the sport on a World Championship that large of a platform. I think that's so great. So excited for you guys.
It's
Well,
going to
it's a
be a
lot of
great thing for the UK.
yeah,
Yes,
it's a lot of bloody work, but it's going to be worth it.
no doubt, no doubt.
Just being involved in any of these events in any capacity is just kind of awesome. So I was kind of multitasking a little bit earlier, so if I re-ask something, I'm sorry, but I was trying to get this shared around to some different groups and get people tagged and whatnot. Um, what can the competitors expect from the venue? Kind of what's like the terrain? And I know we're talking there was ups and downs, but is there anything else we need to talk about what they can expect from the physical venue itself?
Well, it's in the UK, so in August, rain and therefore mud probably. That's
Oh,
almost a safe bet. Uh,
Two
yeah,
unit box, check.
yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about sun hoodies or anything like that. You'll be all right.
In August, it could be anything from shorts and t-shirt weather to, oh my God, it's sideways rain and 50-mile-an-hour winds. You just never know. It's like a box of chocolates.
Ooh,
Yep,
right.
yep. We've had everything, haven't we? I'm pretty sure I've been on a match in August and just been had snow come down on me, but you know it'll be fun. Yeah,
We had hail at the PRS this August.
that's right. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, yeah. I was certain we did. Yeah, we had hail. Yeah,
So yeah, changeable weather, but then it's Great Britain.
yeah.
It could be that.
It's
There's the wind's going to be a challenge because of the clearings and the rides cut through the mature woodland. The wind is a wind reader is going to absolutely love it. It'll be a real challenge based on that. I'd expect an incredibly technical course of fire as well, given the angles of targetry on the incline and the decline, as well as the pans. There's going to be something to really test, and I think the best shooters are going to prevail.
yeah.
Mhm.
You should probably add as well. It's a really central location in the UK, so it's going to be really easy to get to for pretty much anyone from anywhere in the world. It's only about 1 hour and 15 from three major international airports, and you're only out an hour from Birmingham, isn't it? So it's an hour from Birmingham, which is one of the major cities. So accommodation there's not going to be any issues getting accommodation within at least 45 minutes. It's in a very rural setting, but within half hour, 45 minutes, you're in a big city. So uh, it's actually quite a good place to be. And it's if people want to then on the days they're not shooting or whatever, go launch off and visit places. It's in quite a good position to do that because it's only maybe 3-4 hours from Scotland. It's only 3-4 hours from London. It's only 3-4 hours from Wales and the southwest and all that. So you could pretty much visit the whole of the UK from that one spot.
It's incredibly central. It's great, but yeah, there's a lot to do in the local area as well. So you're an hour away from Cadbury's World in Birmingham, which Camden, you know the good English chocolate.
Yes.
Where that's made is an hour away, and within the immediate local area of the match, you've got Roman, medieval, and Victorian historical sites as well. So there's something for everybody. There's a lot to do in the local area also.
I mean, there's literally a castle next to it. So I think it's next to
So
yeah, just down the road from it. So
Hmm.
uh, if you're into that kind of thing, yeah, you're gonna be very happy.
with it. History lessons after shooting world championship and eating chocolate and straws. I'm down. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, proper
Yeah.
chocolate.
Yeah,
We,
I'll agree with that.
yeah.
Like the chocolate anywhere on the other side of the ocean is better than it is here.
Yeah. Can confirm.
Yeah.
We've put to go with the information book for the shooters, which will be it's probably about a week away, Jack, from being published. A couple of things still
Uh,
to confirm.
yeah, there's a couple of basically I'm just waiting on one more graphic to go into it, and then it's gonna be released. So I'm hoping I've given them an ultimatum to have it done by the end of the week. So by the end of the week, it's gonna be published no matter what. Uh, it's going to be a live document anyway, so this is going to be I'll release like the first version this weekend, and then we'll as we know more and more, as we have firmer timings, as we get closer to the date, we'll release a version 2 and a version 3, and that'll be clearly listed on the actual document as well, so you'll know which one you've got. Uh, so and as more sponsors come along as well, they'll get added to that. So it's not the end of the world if we don't get it by then, but we'll have something in everyone's hands by end of the week.
Um, so,
Where
sorry, Camden,
I
go
was
on.
gonna ask, where can this information be found? Will it be posted on Facebook that can be shared to groups? Will it be on, does the GBPRA have a website?
Yeah, so we have a website that we'll put it on the website. We'll have a brand new page on the website, a section on there just for the World Championships, and obviously we'll be sharing it around to each of the precision rifle associations in each individual country for them to cascade it down to their members and their shooters. It's not going to be something that's like kept secret. We want it sent out. We're trying to make it really really friendly for spectators as well. There's going to be quite a lot for them to do. We're going to have a whole. We've got a whole area that can take approximately 4,000 cars. Uh, so we've got the space for as many spectators as we want, basically, practically. And we also get sponsors are going to be coming along with like gazebos, and we're going to have a whole show area. We've already had confirmed that a few of the sponsors are bringing some new items to show, and they're going to have an area off to the left hand side where they can demonstrate new rifles and anyone can have a go and things like that. So it's going to be quite good for spectators as well. So if you want to bring your friends and family along, please do. Please do. So I've just seen what was that live as a shooter just asked if the match is in the woods would be similar to PRS in Missouri. I've never shot in Missouri, so I wouldn't know, I'm afraid. You cannot see you will be able to see the targets. Yeah. So the question here is, will you be able to see the targets downrange as other students? You will be able to see the targets. Yeah. There'll be. It's not as. If I think back to Italy, where it was a very long firing point, and you could basically see what stage 1 was doing from stage 5 or stage 6 down the bottom of the hill. Pretty much, it won't be as open as that. So when you're standing in the vicinity of the stage, you'll be able to see all the targets quite well. But from the next stage down, you're not going to be able to see, which would be nice as well. And there will be a bit of movement. So as in from stage to stage is a bit of distance. So you're not actually going to know what the next stage is until you pretty much get there as well.
Okay.
Yeah, which is quite nice. It's different. It's different. It's nice to keep it fresh, and if every venue was the same, what's the point in holding it in different countries?
Yeah, that'll be really good. Yeah. When the PRS finale was hosted in Missouri this year, it was very woodlands. The targets were next to trees, and when they got all shot up, you couldn't like see them very well. Just because it was so, I mean, they were in bushes and trees, and so I know that's where that question stemmed
Oh,
from
I
because it
see.
was Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was quite
target
the adventure.
finding your targets is going to be part of the challenge. Uh, we're not going to hide them, but they're not going to be blatantly obvious either, just because of the nature of where they're going to be placed. So yeah, there's a lot of vegetation because it rains a lot. So uh, it's yeah, it will definitely be not easy to find targets. It's not going to be obvious. It's not going to be a big white gong in a desert, that's for sure.
Oh, good to know.
I guess the last question or two more questions about the venue. Number one, what kind of match can we expect? Are we looking at, 19 prone stages and two on a barricade, 10 positions on every stage, somewhere in the middle?
It There will be very, very little prone. If there'll be one or two. Uh, we're in the UK. We don't do much prone on our matches, and we want it to be a UK match. So it will be then going to be a lot of barricade work, not a lot of modified prone or you know shooting off cars and things like that, where you are basically prone. You're just stood up really. Your rifle's nicely rested. It'll be There'll be a lot of movement. Yeah, there'll be a lot of kneeling and standing off solid built props, but not necessarily easy uh, props to shoot off, if that makes sense. Everything will be solidly built. There'll be no wobbly props, but it doesn't mean it'll be easy to shoot off either.
A good technical positional match was probably
Yeah,
a good description.
yeah, yeah. We're still sticking with the same format as we've had at pretty much every single World Championship, as in Open, and again, this is something we need to figure out once we get the numbers in from each country. But probably Open and ladies shooting on day one, everyone else shooting day two, and then the others
Mhm.
shoot day one again. That same kind of format. It's worked well.
Mhm.
It's only getting bigger. If every country brings a full squad, we're looking at, off the top of my head, like 629 shooters, which for the UK would be a lot larger by a factor of like seven
Seven.
or eight. Yeah. So it's unlikely that every country's going to bring their own, bring a full complement, but we have to plan for that. So unfortunately, we can't have everyone shooting at the same time. There's just not the staff. There's just not the space. So yeah, that's what's to expect. Yeah.
Very good.
And
Very
then
good.
the most important question now.
This is Greg's favorite question.
What kind of food? What's food?
So the food on site, they have to call it a calf does this place a disservice. It's a restaurant on
Yep.
site, and one of my best friend says anybody who adds coriander to a salad on a burger is doing things for the correct reasons. The food's exceptional on site, and the one of the guys in charge of who's assisting us with the catering and the food side, he runs an eating establishment 20 minutes up the road. So the food's been really well taken care of. It's incredibly important, and one thing we really want to do is show off British culture. And food's a big part of food and drink is a big part of what we do. So expect to see some very British food available. So fish and chips, there'll be pies, there'll be hog roasts, and there's going to be a whole heap of really great food on site.
Yeah.
The catering is something that will be good, and we'll make sure that you guys get fed. That's what we do.
Yeah. It's an area of a actively trying to get right is the food, because we want it to be uh, show off the best of British with it without maybe some of the worst aspects of our reputation for food, which isn't great in the rest of the world. I don't know. Uh, I've just seen a comment here, and it's given me a chance to gloat, which I always like to do. Even the Brits get to hunt with thermals at night. Yeah, yeah, we do get to hunt with thermals. We also get to shoot deer with using thermals to spot, uh, which is yeah.
Yeah, I
We're
mean,
actually
if
we've got a lot of advantages being in the UK. We're not as quite as bad gun wise and hunting wise as everyone thinks. We're probably one of the best countries for hunting. I'd argue.
if anybody's wanting to sort of tag on a hunting trip to the end of the World Championships or even before, We'll have there's going to be 5 of our 6 deer species will be in season in August. So you'll have a choice of fallow deer, roe deer, red, sika, and muntjac deer that will be in season, and certainly we'll be able to steer towards people who can do that.
Yeah.
If anybody's so inclined, just get in touch and we can steer you towards. We've got some great guides if anybody wants to take the opportunity to hunt whilst they're over in the UK.
Yeah, and tags aren't a thing, so you can basically shoot as many as you want. Another question: why is semi-auto not part of the IPRF as division? So I'm doing your job here, but I've got it up here, so I'm reading it. As I said, as it sort of brings back to my earlier comment about 629 shooters, if every country brings its own full complement, there's just not like you're adding another 100 shooters on for a division. It's just going forward in future, if the IPRF have the same kind of growth, in my personal opinion, I think there's going to be some serious questions over some of the divisions, just because when you get into 1,000 potential shooters, I mean, even America's got to struggle with that kind of numbers for a match. So that's basically why they haven't got a semi-auto division. It's not because there's no one wants it. It's just it's just a question of numbers. That having all this at one event, it's a lot. It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, I think if it ever got that big, it'd have to be divided out to where it was like a
Yeah.
week of open, a week of, it'd have to be different.
Yeah, or even different. Like you'd have a factory, maybe a factory division, world championships, and an open division. That's the kind of thing where we'd have to go down, and that's for countries where most people are still volunteers. There's no professionals in it. That's a lot of organising to manage. Yeah.
One more live. Craig Scott asked, "Well, are there any restrictions on magazine size or capacity?"
Yeah, so a good question there. So again, in the info book that comes out this end of the week, this will be clarified. But no, there are no limits on magazine sizes, unless you're a factory division. Then that's the IPRF rules. So there are no restrictions in the UK, and you can buy magazines in the UK. So if you're from a country that potentially doesn't have or isn't allowed to purchase 10 round magazines, you can come over here, either order them. Again, we've got information in the book, but order them before you get out here, and then get down to the practice range and make sure the magazine works, or just literally go to a local shop while you're out here, buy a larger size magazine, and then run that for the event, and then just either sell it to someone or chuck it in the bin, or whatever you want to do. They're not counted as a weapon part or anything, or rifle part, I should say. They're just something you can buy them online.
Very cool.
And I probably should add there will be 12 round stages as well with going with that, or potentially more. We'll see. They're not going to be limited to 10 rounds.
Very cool.
Freedom Spec magazines. It's not California.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to run a Ruger Precision with 30 round mags, you dig out.
Oh.
Bring a drum mag. More than welcome to.
Oh, yes, I'm gonna bring that
Just
G60.
Reload once per day. Sounds perfect, doesn't it? Reload once per day.
All right, so we're about at the midpoint of the show. Remember, if you're watching us live on Facebook, ask any questions you may have in the comments section of this video. We'll ask it live on air. Other ways to catch us, you can always check back on the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page. The videos stay up there forever. We usually upload to all the podcast apps the night after the show. Then finally, everything eventually ends up on the Shooter's Mindset YouTube page. So that's a great place to go up and look up past episodes.
So I kind of want to ask, so we know that you guys are behind the match. We know that the GBPRA team is, and it'll be a group of ROs and volunteers, and of course the competitors will show up. But I kind of ask about sponsors, because I know like they're so important in our community to grow the sport, have new products, new gear come out, and always keep us in top form. So who can you tell us who's sponsoring the world? Who's the title sponsor?
Yeah, so confirmed at the minute. We've got a lot of people still still coming on, but confirmed. We've got the title sponsor straight away. MDT is the title sponsor. They've been incredibly generous. It's going to be great to see these guys at the venue. I'm looking forward to working with them leading up to the event. And then we've got a couple of match sponsors already. So we've got Antras, who are coming as a match sponsor. They're going to have a tent on site on the practice area with some toys for people to have a go at. And there we've also got Vector Optics as a match sponsor, and then we've got Leopold who's just come on board this week as a stage sponsor, and then there's I'm probably forgetting someone, but there's a few people would literally coming on board at the minute. We're just finalising a few things. So yeah, already a good crowd.
It's been really good and very positive, the reception to supporting the event. So, you know, one of the first people that we heard from was the guys over at Apex Optics, who are kindly sponsoring for the ROs. So we've got Apex Optics mounted on top of Fatboy tripods, and the ROs are going to be able to see everything. As well as that, we're getting support from the likes of pledges of support from, you know, Ely ammunition is manufactured just up the road. Ely want to be a part of this. So that's going to be great. We're hoping to have a presence from some of the guys from the Ely Test Centre who deal with the Olympic shooters as well. A lot of our team have been taking advantage of being able to batch test at Ely, which, you know, that's been a game changer for a lot of the guys. You know, the UK gun trade is getting right behind it. We're hoping to add a lot more to it. Obviously, we'll be announcing those as and when we do it. But anybody who's watching this and wants to get involved from a sponsorship point of view, if you email the GBPRA info@gbpra.co.uk, and you know, we've got the sponsorship document prepared, and we can get that sent to you. But it's already looking. It will be the biggest event of its kind in the UK, and Jack has ambitions to make it the biggest event of its kind in Europe so far.
Yeah.
So it's becoming a big beast. It's great.
Yeah, we've got some really good ideas for working with the sponsors. I mean, our intention is I don't know if you remember Italy, how every single stage was sort of like a you know, company logo. They were basically sponsored. It was company logo. We're going to do the same thing over here, and they're going to be enduring props as well. So not only will some of the props stay in the venue, but we're also planning to donate them to some local clubs afterwards. You know, so you know, new generations of shooters can when they go into their local club matches, they're shooting off props that, you know, were World Championship props 3, 4, 10 years ago, which I think would be really, really, really cool. You know, sort of that giving back and sort of trying to bring people up.
Absolutely. Oh, that's amazing. Now I can't wait to see the props. I'm sure they're
The
it'll be great.
ROI will keep giving, because if their name's on it and you're donating it, that ROI will keep going if they're coming to monthly match.
Yes.
That's actually, you really should make sure they know that. That's a huge thing.
The legacy side is massive. So every prop will have a plaque on it that will say this prop was part of the 2025 Rimfire World Championship stage number 17, for example. And then the affiliate clubs that the GBPRA has are going to be donating. ROs and volunteers will be donating their time, and it's a way for the GBPRA to give back to the clubs and the volunteers who are helping us. So it's going to be a long-lasting thing that people will shoot off for, you know, a long time still to come.
Yeah, and I think it'd be really cool if, you know, some 15-year-old he's going to local matches, and, you know, he sees this prop, stage 17, I wonder what that was, you know, looks it up online, finds the match book, and tries to recreate that stage at his local club to see how he would have done. I think that's really cool. And as you say, you know, if you've got that Leopold logo prop at your club that you're going to every week, you know, that what great marketing that is, you know, for one time purchase, and you get that for they're going to be made to last as well. So, you know, in 10 years time they'll still be running and kicking around. So yeah,
that'd be huge.
I love that intentionality. That is so, and my marketing mind is like, that is brilliant, you guys. Yes. Like, good on you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. So we've had a lot of questions, and every year it comes up with IPRF. So I've been helping behind the scenes with IPRF for years, and every year it comes up, and it's different every year. And we had a question from a shooter about cap on rounds, but can you just go over a little bit with Great Britain and firearms and what people need to know with getting their firearm into the country? Are there any forms they need? Are there any ammo limitations? And what are the rules with getting into the country with that firearm, whether they're driving or flying?
So in order to come to the UK, you need what's called a visitor's permit. So it's basically, the way to picture it is it's a temporary firearms license for your stay in the UK. Depending on what your sponsor in the UK asks for when he fills out the permit, you can purchase firearms ammunition, and you can bring up to a certain limit. So it's not unusual for people in the UK to have a couple thousand rounds on their license for 2.2. It's pretty much as long as you can provide the police with a good reason, they'll add that number on. And the same with the visitor permit. I think we're probably going to be asking in probably for about around 500 per person, because I know that's a number that they're not going to have an issue or kickback with, and that should give everyone enough. Purchasing ammo in the UK is really easy. You just show them the visitor permit. It says you're allowed to buy ammunition. Job done.
On the
Coming into the
purchasing
UK
of
is
ammunition, sorry to interrupt, Jack.
Yeah.
On the purchasing of ammunition, we're planning to have ammunition available on site from all of the major manufacturers. So obviously Ely will be there, Lapua, SK, RWS. We're having ammunition ring fenced, and it will be available to purchase on site. Hopefully for the guys, for the companies who deal in that, there'll be different batches available as well for people to buy and try. So if you find the Goldilocks batch whilst you're over there, fill your boots.
Can they also bring their own with them? Are they allowed to bring their own in? Okay.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. Yeah.
Is it different for juniors with the permit?
No different.
Juniors are allowed. Is there an age limit?
I say don't quote me on this because I don't have the regulations right in front of me, but I believe, and Ryan, correct me if I'm wrong, 14 is the youngest you can have your own firearms license.
Yeah, I think there's we'll need to check back on that, and it'll be in the info book, but I'm pretty certain that there is an age limit for the purchase of ammunition for the juniors. It's quite an odd rule, so the junior can have their own firearm certificate and their own gun, but then they can't use it unless they're under supervision. It not being involved with the junior shooters, it's not an area of our law that I'm particularly au fait with.
But there's no limit for young shooters actually shooting, so they can shoot. There's an age limit under which they have to have an adult present, but obviously there'll be ROs, there'll be spotters, there'll be staff members. That's not an issue. But yeah, there's not like a. I think the youngest age someone's allowed to shoot is based off insurance. So I think it's like most ranges like 7 years old or 10 years old. So it's not going to be an issue for. I know in Italy we had a few issues where anyone under the age of like 16 or something like that wasn't allowed to compete. That's not a problem at all.
Yeah, I want to say they had issues with the juniors having their own, like having it in their possession. So then I think like parents that had a junior shooting were having trouble because the 200 limit, like if they had their own ammo and they had that's why I was asking, could the juniors have their own ammo?
I can't remember exactly what the rule is, but I remember having to I had to put one of our junior shooters rifles on my license to go out to Italy because he wasn't allowed to have it for because I think it was under 18. You weren't allowed to actually carry it or
that's not a problem.
No, that's not a problem. So there is a lead up time for the visitor permits, I should say this. So it's 8 weeks.
Okay.
I can normally turn them around quicker. I have a good relationship with my local police force, but that, I don't want to use up brownie points. 8 weeks. So 8 weeks, there will be like an 8-week cut off before the event that we need all your paperwork done. We're still in discussions with So we're in discussions with the police over the best way to do it, because normally you'd either do a form per person or you'd do a form for a group of, I think it's up to 20 people, which obviously, if you're doing it one per person for 600 people, they're going to get very, very annoyed at you. But so we're looking at a way that we can do everyone sort of in the most efficient way possible. Yeah, so we'll sort of figure that out as we get more details from them. But what we're planning to, until they come back and say anything different, what we're planning to is I'll send out a form to the representative from each country, and they will fill in each of their shooters' information on that one form, and I'll send it off. So that's what we're planning at the minute, until we hopefully get a more efficient way for it to be done. Yeah.
Sounds good. So that's pretty simple. Just make sure they do it ahead of time. Can't be last minute.
It's actually really. I've traveled quite a bit in Europe with firearms, and I've got to say, it's flying into the UK with firearms is probably one of the easiest experiences you'll have in Europe. Maybe other than maybe Norway, Brian, if you remember that. Where the guy didn't even look it up, didn't even stamp on paperwork. He was more interested about talking about football. But
yeah,
coming
into the UK with firearms is really easy, particularly guys from Europe who, if you've got your paperwork, every time I drive into Europe with the firearms, I'll go on the tunnel. So you just get on the train in England, you get off the train, you're in France, and vice versa on the way home. Coming from France to England, I've never had paperwork checked. They just check your passport and wave you through. And every time it's been checked in the UK, all they want to see is that you have paperwork for what you say you've got, and then they wave you through. So it's a really simple process.
Yeah, they're pretty on the ball. They're quite rigid with the rules, but in a sort of good way. I remember going to one Eastern European airport, and my rifle just got sort of left in the middle of the terminal, and I went to the customs, and they were just like, "No, we don't have your guns. Why would we have your guns?" And we're like, "Well, you're meant to have them." Just go find them. And they're just in the middle of a terminal. I just walked up and took them. Some guy came out of a booth and was like, "Oh, are they yours?" I was like, "Yeah." Oh, okay. I just walked off. So yeah, there shouldn't be any issues.
Is there anything weird with transporting firearms once they're in the country, or it has to be locked in a case, or is there anything weird?
So you have to take reasonable precautions to ensure the safety of the firearm. So I don't have it on display on the back seat. Don't leave your car unlocked. Depending on where you come from in the world, the UK, if someone sees a firearm on the back seat, there's potentially someone might break it and steal it. It's not necessarily as safe as some very rural, idyllic countries. We just take reasonable precautions, and you're absolutely fine. There's no
building on the reasonable precautions. The one thing that's unique is that if you have a loaded magazine in a public place, i.e., your car driving to and from the venue, under the definition of a loaded firearm in UK law, a loaded magazine is classified as a loaded firearm. So it's always worth just emptying your mags, traveling from the venue back to the hotel or the Airbnb, for example. That's it's something that always catches me out when I always sort of check that I've got my magazines. I'm like, oh yeah, I better empty those. So
I will say that the police are pretty common sense most of the time. We have quite strict rules on things like knives, but if you have, if you're not dressed in trackies with a moped, and you're not visibly it's not like you are an idiot who's going to go stab someone. They're fairly understanding. That they are out there to get the bad guys, and they're not trying to sort of and with that, I should probably cover this as well, because especially you guys in America, knives are nothing. You can't just go wandering around with knives in your pockets. On the venue, absolutely fine, because it's a private place. I'd like to discourage it, because there's no reason you need a knife other than maybe cutting a bit bit of cheese or whatever, your snacks, but don't go into shops, don't go into public places with a knife in your pocket. If someone catches or sees it and you get reported to the police, it is a no-no. The rule is you're allowed to have it. Anything over 3 inches that's
Not locking.
not lock-in. You have to have a good reason to have it in the public place, i.e., it's fine, I'm walking from my house to go hunting. That's why I've got this massive knife on my hip. Yeah, that's fine. Or I work as a carpenter. That's why I've got it. But if you're going into a shop with a box cutter, and you're saying, "Oh, I'm a carpenter," well, it's like, why are you in the shop? Why don't you leave it in your car? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other weird rules? I know one of the countries, and I don't even remember which one, you were not allowed to wear camo. And we have here everybody wears camo matches. It's a huge thing. So everybody was like, oh my gosh, all my rain gear is camo, and everybody was having to go buy black rain gear. There's other weird rules, are there that?
No, that's not a rule over here at all. Obviously, the only other big one is don't drive on the wrong side of the road. But yeah, you'll soon figure that out when you go up to a roundabout. Saying that, you probably don't know what a roundabout is, but when you see a roundabout for the first time,
wrong over here. We do them so wrong over here. So when my family visited Scotland and England earlier this year, it was so nice to have them done properly, and then you come back here and everyone
y'all started having roundabouts, and then we had to go start getting them because y'all have them.
Well,
I wish y'all never had roundabouts, because now we started plopping them over here and nobody knows how to do them, and they're a disaster.
Terrible.
The roundabouts in Italy were amazing because everybody knew you use any pedal to get into the roundabout. You don't use the fat wide one.
Yeah.
Here, people are like, let me hit that wide pedal. No, send it, dude.
Driving in Italy, you take your life into your own hands, really. Drivers in England are a lot more polite. Let's put it that way. And also, don't turn right on a red light. That's not a thing as well.
But do you
outside of
turn
America
on red lights?
Huh?
Do you turn left on red?
No. You don't. If it's a red light, you don't move because it's red.
Okay, good to know.
Y'all don't have.
Us Americans it's fine. Go.
Y'all don't have any zone you're not supposed to drive in, do you?
Bus zones, but that's clearly marked. It says
and
bus
pedestrian zones in town
Oh,
centres, but
yeah,
everything's
pedestrian zones.
signposted.
Y'all don't
It's
have
obvious.
the mystery ZTL or whatever zones that no one knows you're not supposed to drive in unless you read Italian, that you get a ticket for. Okay.
Yeah, no, tolls. There is only one toll road in the UK, and you have to pay when you get to it. So, yeah, I mean, there's a few toll bridges, but yeah, no, there's no like. I know exactly what you're talking about because I think it's Austria do the same thing. You drive on the motorway and you don't realize unless you bought one of the tags, you get fined at the end for not having one. And you're like, well, it wasn't marked. It's like, well, you drive on the motorway, you're supposed to know.
There's whole parts of cities in Italy they're called ZTLs, and if you drive in there, what happens is 3 months later you get a ticket that shows up your house.
And we do have that, to be fair, but that's only in London, like central London and Birmingham, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, because
again, it's clearly marked. It's clearly marked that you are entering a ULZ zone.
ULZ zone. At least
ULZ, yeah, ultra low emissions zone.
ULEZ.
ULEZ, yes, thank you. Yeah, ULEZ. Money over there. I've just seen a comment. Money over there. Sorry, Matt Stein. I don't know what you mean. As in the money we use, or we use obviously pounds. Pounds, not euros. Pounds.
Yeah, it's pounds. It's a different currency to the rest of Europe, just because the Brits like to be different.
Yeah. Oh, and tipping's not a thing either. It is, but it's not. Nobody really tips. Well, I don't, but
good.
Unless you have very good service, in which case tip away.
Unless you have exceptional service, but it's not like a 20%. Like barman will think you're weird if you start giving them 20% extra, unless they've done something absolutely.
They probably won't, refuse it. They'll be like, oh, sure.
Oh no, they're going to refuse it, but they will look at you like, well, a bit weird. Yeah, that's one of the things I hate about going to America is having to remember to tip everywhere. Yeah, credit cards will work. Yeah, we're a fairly cashless society, so debit debit cards and credit cards are preferred most places over cash. Uh, Apple Pay is a big thing. Yeah, if you've got Apple Pay on your phone, you'll be fine in 99% of places.
Good to know. Good to know. Awesome. Well, I
It
kind of
would
want to
not get
ask.
I would not get fuel on a Sunday in Italy. Oh, yeah, fuel station. Questions about fuel stations. Yeah, fuel stations are open
Oh,
like 24 hours. A lot of things in the UK are open 24 hours. Uh,
That's
yeah, yeah, pretty
yeah.
much everything nowadays is open 24 hours a day, even on Sunday.
This is making me so excited. Like all this information, I'm just soaking it in. I'm like, I can't wait. But I know I've loved hearing you guys talk about the whole match, and I know that you understand that it is a shooting competition, but that you also got like you see it as an event.
Yeah,
And something that I loved in Italy and even in I mean, I wasn't in France, so I can't speak for France, but in Italy and then in Colorado for the World Championship, like all the vendors we had, and we really tried to make it an event. And in Italy, I felt like it was an event where you could come, you would see vendors, you would be able to shoot and walk around. And so for vendors, I know possibly you mentioned it briefly, but you will have vendors
yeah,
or
yeah, yeah. So we're planning to make it as big as we can, really. I mean, I'd love it to if it was like a a side on the side of it, if there was like a precision rifle shooting show that it was just rolled
that'd
into
be
one.
so cool.
I think that'd be brilliant. I know a lot of the European guys. Speaking to some of the Scandinavian guys, and having been out here for a bit now and looking around the local gun shops, they're very everything's sort of hunting orientated. So for a lot of those guys, it's quite hard to get precision rifle specific kit. So there'll be quite a few shops that will be on site that'll have just PRS gear, and the European guys can come and get whatever they struggle
Mhm.
getting over in Europe. Uh, you know, you can buy as many bags and MBT products as you want and to take home.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And will this be for like the whole event or will it be for the
yeah, yeah,
first few
yeah.
days?
Absolutely. So obviously it's a 17th to 24th, so it's a long event. There's only actually 4 days of competition shooting. Uh, on the days leading up to that, we'll have a zero range open, we'll have a practice range open, and we'll have that retail area open. That retail open area, the zero practice retail area will be open for the entire event as well. In the lead up to it, you'll be able to come and you'll be able to have time to look around and shop before the event, and get some practice in as well on a side bit of the range.
Yeah, the shops and the vendors who are keen to come along, like Jack said, MDT will be there demoing stuff as will Anschutz, along with a lot of the other sponsors also. But there'll be, like we'll have Josh Martin from C2 Precision is looking at bringing the guys from his shop and having a stall there. So there'll be PRS specific retail stores as well. I
Yeah,
know Holly and Marcus from Simpsons Brothers, they're looking to come along, and they're working with Yeti to have Yeti coolers and Yeti mugs branded for the 2025 IPRF World Championship. So you'll be able to get a Yeti Rambler that's engraved with the World Championships on there. So it's gonna be quite a lively, almost like a retail village as well, which is
yeah,
something that we're keen to really encourage spectators and family and friends to come along, and also for the guys in the UK who don't necessarily get to these big international shoots and everything like that. With it being so centrally located, we really want to encourage people to come and watch.
yeah,
And something we've discussed and we're trying to sort of iron out how it will look is after the Worlds is finished, is the following weekend to have the course open. So anybody who wants to turn up and shoot the World Championship course before it's all torn down and put away will be able to come and see what it was like and test themselves, see what it would have been like, and try it again. It's that legacy that we're keen to have and try and involve as many
yeah.
people as possible because it's a big deal for the UK.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of people will be looking from home in the UK, or they'll come down to the event and spectate it. Uh, and everyone everyone will be sat there thinking, "Oh, I wish I could give it a go." So we really want to be able to make that happen,
Yeah.
and just sort of be like a free day. Uh, I, I mean, just speaking from English perspective. It like I don't know if you have it in America, like sporting clays, where you just walk around in a loop and you just sort of more like golf, where you just let loose on the course, and you just go around each of the holes in your own steam, sort of kind of that kind of deal. Try and make it feel a bit like that. So nice and relaxed, and you can just keep your own score and see how you get on. And also, I should probably add, there's no fee for spectators to come and watch. We're not charging for spectators. Come down and have a watch. Are there matches within a week or two beforehand? Just seen a comment there. Yes. So yes, if you want to have a match, we can organise matches. Again, in the info book, we've got 4 or 5 rangers that we've got a really good relationship with. If you want to come down as a team and have your own little practice match in the UK at a venue, we can organise that. If you want just a match, there are matches pretty much every week at the minute in the UK, but we can definitely arrange that. We've got enough venues for that. Actually, I had a question the other day from an Australian about people leaving their firearms and going traveling Europe, because obviously it's a long way to come. They wanted to go travel Europe after leaving it. I need to check 100% what the legalities are for visitors permits, but normally I believe you can leave it with what we call an RFD, a registered firearms dealer. They'll charge a small fee. Normally it's about £5 a week for storage. So you should be able to. I'm 80% sure you'll be able to leave your firearms with a firearms dealer. Go visit UK, go visit Europe without having to deal with any of the hassle. Come back, pick up your firearms, and fly home again.
There is a registered firearms dealer on site at the venue.
Yeah.
So good. That's
And I'm sure he'd love for 500 people to pay him £5 for the week. Yeah. Easy money.
He's gonna need to get him a bigger safe.
Yeah. We can't emphasize how pretty amazing his places. He's used to dealing with a lot of people.
That's
A
awesome.
lot of people.
It's amazing.
Oh,
So you said the match is the 17th through the 24th, and
Yep.
then the competition days are 4 days. So then because I know in Italy the closing ceremony followed, like it was the evening of the 4th day of competition, but for the Rimfire Worlds this year, closing ceremony was the day after. So will it be that they're like 3 days of sight-in, 4 days of competition, and then like the last day's closing ceremony? Do you have that layout yet?
What I will do is, instead of me just yabbering on, I will try and show you the actual laydown.
There's a whole timetable of events that Jack's created, and
Yeah.
there's some pretty big plans and some quite grand plans for the opening and closing ceremonies as well.
There we go. So that's what it looks like. Obviously, I can't show you the whole thing because it's not finished yet, but that is, yeah. So as it says there, basically, if it's green, that means it's happening on that day, obviously. So from the 17th to the 23rd, zero in practice, the restaurant, the retail area, all that will be open. From the 19th to the 23rd, that's when the competition will actually be held, and the opening ceremony will be on the 9th. That is wrong. I'm gonna have to correct that again. I said it wasn't finished on the 18th. It'll be on the evening of the 18th, before the first day of competition, and then the closing ceremony will be the day after the last day of shooting. Yeah, which will also enable us to do any tiebreakers that we need to do. So there'll be the last day of shooting. Then there'll be any shoot-offs that need to happen, and then the afternoon/evening will be the closing ceremony. So there'll be a bit of a break, so you're not going straight from the range to the closing ceremony. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so exciting. And so then you are doing shoot-offs for the tiebreaker.
Yes. It'll be yes. Yeah. Oh,
Exciting.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. It's fun. It's more fun. It brings a bit of a spectator sport to it.
Absolutely.
A lot more interesting than just a time stage, and I think it's a little bit fairer as well, because everyone, you might have a bad stage one time, so give you a chance to sort of bit like France. I think France did it quite well that their shoot-offs.
Mhm.
A good chance for redemption.
Yeah,
Shoot-offs are great. Nobody really cares about the people in the shoot-offs, but they're awesome to watch. So, yes, there will be I am putting my foot down with there will be shoot-offs because it's the most entertaining way to decide the outcome of a
Right.
match.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think the shooter's mindset has ever had more intense minutes than shoot-offs on day 3 of AG Cup.
yeah. One thing I should probably cover as well is registration is open for the first 3 days leading up to it, so you don't have to be there from the 17th. Conscious that some people might not want or might not be able to afford accommodation for the entire event. You don't have to be there from day one. You can register literally the day before, the evening before the event, and go straight into it if you don't want to do any practicing, don't want to zero, don't want to do anything like that. But obviously, it'd be a shame to not have the time to properly walk through all the vendors on the lead up to it and do some proper
Yeah.
practicing.
Definitely.
So there's been quite a bit of growth in the Rimfire Precision world, especially since the World Championships in Italy in 2023. How have you guys seen Rimfire grow in Great Britain?
It's been massive. This past year, so 2024, has been the busiest year of Rimfire. In fact, shooting in general in the UK, but Rimfire especially, with everybody having one eye on the World Championships. So we've had a massive influx of newer shooters coming into it, particularly sort of lady shooters. Going back to last summer, we had just 2 lady shooters who were involved in the qualification process, and we put the call out for some of the guys, some of the lady shooters we knew to fill in. Fast forward to this year, in the qualification process, there was 10 lady shooters fighting it out for a place on the team, and it was a really competitive division. Same with the juniors as well. We've not just had the regulars bring in their wives and girlfriends. We've had junior shooters get involved, but the best thing about the juniors has been it's not been sort of children and juniors whose parents already shoot. It's been brand new shooters. It's not just bringing a junior shooter in. It's bringing in their parents to the community and everything else. So that's been really good. And I think the key to that has been I'm going to big Jack up because I don't think him and the committee do this enough and don't take enough credit for it. But Jack and Adam from the GBPRA have been a huge driving force behind it with creating affiliate clubs. So clubs affiliate with the GBPRA, and the GBPRA tracks the scores from their club matches. So we have a national leaderboard. So on the national leaderboard, there's over 250 shooters' scores and results recorded, which gives visibility for everybody taking part. And also, there's the interclub rivalry. There's everybody wants to be further up the leaderboard than their friends, and that's really driven the growth for it. And Jack needs to take a huge slice of the credit for that. So the GBPRA also runs NRL 22 in the UK. So as well as having the PR22 matches, which would sort of be like the PRS Rimfire or NRL 22X in other parts of the world, the PR22 is sort of our replacement for that. It's non-scripted. It's kind of a freestyle event for match directors. But we also have the NRL 22 Course of Fire that's shot monthly. So we'll have people shooting. And again, there's visibility on the leaderboards. So having more and more matches has been brilliant and sort of, excuse me, the biggest driving force, like I say, has been Jack and the guys on the committee at the GBPRA pushing that, along with the unsung army of volunteers and people at rifle ranges all around the country getting involved and stepping in to put matches on. So just having the access, which 5 years ago when Jack and I were starting this, there was probably we might get 1-2 match every second month if we were lucky, and it was usually held in somebody's field and a legal grey area. Whereas now we're on proper ranges with proper organised matches and leaderboards, which is great. So
I just checked that we had 43 matches just on the PR22 leaderboard this year, which probably doesn't sound a lot for America, but bearing in mind how our smaller country we are.
That is
That's quite a lot.
amazing.
That's a lot.
No,
Yeah.
that is huge. I applaud you guys. That is fantastic. That really is so cool. Oh,
Well,
Yeah.
that makes
for
me
it
No,
to
so
be
It's
growing for where y'all have come from,
yeah.
that's massive growth, I know.
yeah. Rimfire is multiple times bigger than Centrefire now in the UK. And I don't think it's ever going to be anything other nowadays. It's a lot easier to get a rimfire in the UK than it is a centrefire, so it's always going to be an area of massive growth for us. We're always going to see people that sort of get into the sport via rimfire and then develop into centrefire shooters, in my opinion. Just because it's easy to get into, it's cheaper. There's matches everywhere. There's matches everywhere in the UK for rimfire now. We've got a 50. So you're pretty much never more than about 2 hours drive from a range that does rimfire PRS now, unless you live like in the
in the
Midlands,
Midlands,
like yeah,
like me, because
or
there's nothing near to me. I have to drive 2 to 3 hours to every single match.
yeah, and if you live in Scotland, but we're working on that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
I
also it's your own
remember,
fault for living in Scotland.
I remember in Italy whenever, y'all came and y'all had did y'all have a completely full team or almost?
Full
Full
team.
team, yeah,
It was
yeah,
completely full. And
yeah,
I remember y'all were like, oh, yes, this is her third match. And we were
yeah,
like, what? And y'all were like, oh, we were coming with a full team.
She
Yeah.
killed it, by the way. I
And
know who you're talking
yes,
about.
Uh-huh.
yes, y'all,
we
but y'all were like, oh, we were coming with a full team. So we found a full team.
yeah,
Yeah.
Y'all were
We
so determined
Yeah.
to, it was so important to y'all that you took this seriously and wanted to have a full team that you just reached out and found, you
yeah.
made sure that you filled it. And when you had a gap in the ladies division, you just didn't have the numbers there. And you made the numbers, and man, those ladies killed it. They did so
They
good.
They
did.
were
Uh,
awesome. They were
three of
really
our
good.
three of our shooters in Italy, that was their first PRS match
Yeah.
Yeah.
ever.
And
Yeah,
I had such the pleasure of shooting with Heather, and she was just, I mean, throughout the whole weekend, she's became like honestly a better shooter. Like every stage, she kept getting better and
mhm.
better. And when those ladies played so well, and as the GB ladies team, I was like, oh, such a proud moment. I'm so happy for them.
It
So
was
they
awesome.
did
It was
great.
great.
Well, of
So
course, I
y'all
shot.
have done so much to grow it. Where do you project that Rimfire will be in Great Britain in 5 years?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
I mean, I know what I'd like to see. Obviously with the legacy, with the props and everything from this event, I'd love to see more permanent uh, places to shoot precision rifle and precision rifle with a rimfire. We're quite blessed in the UK. There's a lot of sort of old military ranges from World War II that get used for clays and rimfire, and it'd be great for some of those to have a permanent area for precision rifle to be shot. And I'd love to see more, especially with the having been sort of witness to the growth, particularly with the lady shooters, with Andrea, my wife, being one of the first lady shooters to really start it off. I'd love to see more and more ladies shooting. It's a much better environment when the girls are there. It's a much better environment. I really enjoy it because it keeps all the boys in line, and it's more family friendly. And I think if everybody, all of us who are shooting, all bought our other halves, then overnight that would double the amount of shooters that we have. The UK is very similar to the rest of the world in that shooting's constantly under threat, and by having more numbers, that's a great way to sort of ensure the continuation of it. So yeah, I'd just like to see more of it and more clubs coming on board and more people taking part and some more. We've got some amazing venues and places in the UK that you could hold
We do.
matches, and bringing them online would be fantastic.
And then the second part of that question is, where do y'all think that Rimfire will be internationally in 5 years?
Jesus, where to start? It's going to be. I mean, it's already getting really big, and I think partly that's down to Italy. I think Italy really invigorated the rimfire worldwide. There was a lot of countries. I remember there was a lot of countries, especially like the Scandinavians, who were like a bit on the fence about it before going into it, because historically in Scandinavia, from my knowledge of the area, there's not that much of a history of competing with tutus. It's more of like in fact, before sort of Ryan got me back into tutus, like I thought very similar, like tutus are something when you're a kid, that's what you train up on. But I think they saw in Italy how good it can be, and hopefully that's something we add on to this year. So yeah, it's going to be huge, I think, in 5 years, especially for a lot of countries where they've got even stricter rules than the UK. I mean, there's some countries that you can't in Europe where you can't buy barrels. To get rebarreled, you have to send it back to the manufacturer for them to do it. Most manufacturers don't do that, so they basically have to buy a new rifle every year, basically, which could be very expensive for if you're running top end rifle. So whereas 2.2, I mean, has anyone ever shot out a 2.2 barrel? So you can buy a 2.2 and you can shoot it pretty much forever. So I think that there's a lot. It's going to be able to reach a lot more people than centerfire ever is. I always use the euphemism that it's centerfire is like Formula One, and I realise it probably doesn't work for this audience. And 2.2 is like touring car. Probably doesn't work for.
I've seen
the audience I'm
Camden's
talking to.
2.2.
Yeah, but that kind of mass appeal, I think that's what I'm trying to get. There's a mass appeal to it that isn't probably there with centerfire. Yeah, and especially in Europe, because you guys are blessed that you can just pretty much go into a gun shop. Maybe you have to wait 2 days for it to be able to buy a rifle. For a lot of us in Europe, we have to, it's a process that takes 6 months, a year to get a firearms permit to be able to go out and buy a firearm.
Great.
I think you're right.
Yeah,
Rimfire is the ultimate gateway drug for sure.
It is.
Especially where there's smaller land masses like we've got. It makes hosting a great match, great monthly matches achievable in a much smaller space. And I know there's been like we've been speaking with a couple of match directors over here, and there's talks of a 3-day, 3 separate venue rimfire match, whether that happens this year, whether it happens next year, almost like a Viking trail but with 22s.
Yeah,
like that'd be awesome.
So cool.
That'd be so cool.
So there's a lot going on, and with the accessibility of it, my favorite thing is just not wearing ear pro.
Oh, I love it.
Yep.
We're going to AG Cup, and I was like, oh, I have to pack my ears. Because when we broadcast, we have to have walkie-talkie ears in, and I have an ear in listening to the broadcast on my iPad and underneath the ear pro. And by the end of the day, my ears hurt so bad from having those and then ear pro over top mashing it. So it's much nicer.
There's actually probably a really good sort of analogy with biathlon, because traditionally biathlon was done with 4-bore rifles, and they switched to 2.2 because it made it more spectator friendly, because you didn't have to wear ear defenders, because the spectators could see the shooters and could see the targets, as opposed to having like a target 300 meters away that they couldn't really see. It was with the naked eye, you can sit there with a rimfire and you can watch the targets flash as they get hit, which is something I really want to push for our event. Is we're going to try and get flashes on as many targets as possible, so you can sit there without glass and just see the lights ping up in the woods, which I think would be really cool. We experimented on the last match we did there, and I was just sat there watching all these lights flash up in the woods, and I was like, this turns it into a bit of a spectator sport.
It does. Flashers do make it nice.
Yeah. What flashers do you like for rimfire?
We've been experimenting recently with the new Hornady ones. They seem to work really, really well, and a big thing for them is the cost as well. Yeah, they're pretty much disposable, for the money they're at. You're not too worried about getting losing one or getting one damaged. You can replace them very easily.
Yeah, there's been a lot of new flashers to come out over the last year
Yeah.
or so, and the Hornet is definitely one of the ones that I think is going to stay around for a while.
I
But the big
think
one
so
for us
too.
is being able to get them a lot. I think a lot of things have come out in America a year before they come out in the UK. So we're fortunate enough to be able to get the Hornady ones quite easily. Uh, it'd be interesting to try some of the other ones we've not really seen many others than the Hornady and the Magneto. Uh,
Yeah, Hornady has a good distributor in the UK, so the guys at Edgar Brothers do a good job, and I'm sure they'll hook us up. But if anybody from Hornady's watching, get in touch. We could probably do with maybe 50 or 60 of them. Thank you.
yeah.
There we go.
That's right. All right. Do we have any more pressing live questions that just need to be answered tonight before we let these gentlemen go to bed? Because I know it's like middle of the night over there.
Like,
Yeah, it's
morning.
2:30 a.m. for me, and probably 3:30 for Jack in Norway at the moment.
3:30. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to tell though. I haven't seen the sun for like a week anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
I
crazy.
see no
terrible.
pressing lives right now.
All right. I think we can wind it down to shout outs. We will start with Camden.
Okay, my shout out is going to be first the IPRF who started these amazing world championships that we all get to participate in either as match directors, competitors, sponsors. But I want to shout out Ryan and Jack. Thank you for being on tonight, and thank you to the GBPRA. I'm so excited for the world championships, and I know that you guys pour your heart and soul into it, and so it'll be incredible to see all of your hard work and passion played into the week. And I know so many people are excited, and you guys are going to leave an incredible legacy. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Awesome.
Looking forward to running it, and I'm
Correct.
sort of looking forward to it being over, really, because it's eating my life up at the minute. I might be divorced by the end of it, but it'll be worth it.
All right, now, like Greg Bell, he said he was putting in a divorceable amount of time. Greg, what you got?
Um, I'd like to shout out Team GB, who's been good friends of the Shooter's Mindset ever since Italy. Thank you guys for everything you do for the sport and for us. Um, to yeah, and that's about it.
All right, Ryan.
So I'd like to shout out Jack, all the volunteers, everybody who's sort of making this event happen, and in particular all the shooters who, as soon as the qualification process finished and we knew who'd made the team and who hadn't, every single person who didn't make the cut turned around and said, I want to RO, I want to help out. And, the whole of the UK is behind making this event as good as can be. So it's really good to see. So yeah, big shout out to the awesome community we have in the UK around precision rifle shooting.
All right, Jack.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for having us on, really, for giving us a sort of platform to ramble on for an hour, and hopefully sort of get some of this hype out and sort of put what we're trying to achieve across our intent for the event. There's only so much you can say in a little booklet. It's very black and white. You can't really put across what you're trying to achieve and what you hope you're trying to make with the event. So yeah.
All right. Now, I just want to shout out y'all for a couple things. One for Straubs and feeding me, keeping me fed in Italy. And my husband's laughing at me in there.
Damien got fed too.
Yes, he's laughing because he got fed too. Said yes, I got fed indeed. But yeah, no, y'all were always big supporters of us whenever we were doing the live broadcasts and helping make sure that we are fed and watered well. So
Well,
we do appreciate that. And
on the plus side, the heat in the UK won't be anywhere near as intense. So if you guys are coming over, it's not going to be an issue quite as bad as yeah. No, we had some rough days. There were some
That's
rough
right.
days.
It will not be as bad. But shout out for that, and then also a shout out for what y'all are doing, bringing the match over to y'all. I know it's a tremendous amount of work, and IPRF is dear to my heart, just because of what it does for other countries and growing the sport. I know Jack has been involved for a couple of years also with IPRF and knows kind of the background and some of what it means to some of the countries that don't have as readily available firearms, with some of the laws that they are dealing with. So it's near and dear to my heart. So I appreciate all of the hard work that you're putting in to bring this event to the UK and bring all those countries together. So I know it's a lot of work. Keep your head up because it's going to be a lot for the next 8 months. Don't get a divorce over it, but I know it'll be a lot of work. So huge shout out for y'all and that. If y'all need any shares for the Shooters Mindset, any information put out, I know everybody will be glad to get it shared on our page. So please reach out and we will help.
That'd be great. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. One last thing before we sign off, please, Jen. Anybody wanting to get involved? I was in France a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of the ROs from France want to come over to RO our event as well. And obviously, we're still there's still spaces for any companies who want to sponsor the event or be involved in the event. The email address for anything like that is info@gbpra.co.uk. And you can contact the GBPRA on Facebook or Instagram as well. But yeah, for anybody, there's been such an overwhelming wave of support for the event, and anybody wanting to get involved still, please get in touch. We've got space for everybody, and we want to accommodate everybody and make it as bigger and as bolder event as can be done.
All right. So everybody reach out, and if anybody wants to send them target indicators, I'm sure they will be glad to plaster your name on a barricade somewhere.
Oh, 100%.
So be sure to reach out to them. All right, and that will be a wrap for episode 455, and we will see y'all next time.
Bye.